All right. Good evening, USA, International, Long Island, aka Strong Island, Canada, the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, YouTuber, host with the most, misunderstood, lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, and rookie podcaster of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And you're rocking and hanging out with me on the 52nd episode of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, the sports edition show where we talk every single topic about sports up in here. Now, in case you're wondering, um, I usually have my sound effects on my phone, but because there's been some technical difficulties and stuff, so I have to wait for a new battery to come in by tomorrow. So, you know what I'm saying? And in the meantime, I hope y'all had a good weekend. I know the Giants lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, which we'll get to in a future episode. And in the meantime, why don't you go ahead and grab that subscribe button on the YouTube channel sports page of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. Tap the noni bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes and sports topics that's being discussed. Tell us how you feel about the topics and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And and stay tuned for more of your content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes, and make sure you listen, stream, watch the episodes, download these episodes. That's very important. And of course, tell a friend to another friend. And I'll handle the rest at the end of the show. All right, now before I even get into the quick side bleacher bar, I want to address something actually. Um for those of you that's been going to my YouTube channel, G Money Stacks 555, if you see anything that says upcoming, that means that there hasn't been anything recorded yet. So that's those are future episodes to be recorded. And if you see them, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. They're just upcoming future episodes that hasn't been recorded. I just wanted to put it out there. So there you have it right there. So yeah. And yeah. Now that I got that out the way, I want to make sure that I have everything situated. So let's get to our main primary segment right here where we talk about everything in sports. We got some football and some basketball and a little bit of New York Mets news to cover. So let's get into it by getting into the quick side bleacher bar. All right, let's do this. Yes, in case you're wondering, the sound effects is from this thing called My Instance. That's the sound effect app that I was put onto by somebody from one of the one of the Poker's live streamers actually told me about it actually. So I'm glad I actually got it though. But let's get into this right here, man. All right. Starting with starting with starting with former Spurs guard Patty Mills. Let's get to it. All right, so according to poundingtherock.com, let's get to what's going on here. So, all right, so Most recently, last night, the young San Antonio got schooled by their elder statesman Brooklyn Nets. Excuse me, at the Barclays Center. The game was ugly from start to finish, but the guys need to continue off to get up off the mat, dust themselves off, and retain that knowledge for future references. Covering the likes of Kevin Durant is a great education for Jeremy Sochan, and learning to cover sharpshooters from beyond the arc is still taking shape. Mostly the reminders that a team cannot win with bulk turnovers should be that much more embedded. But one thing any Spurs player, new or old, should be aware of is this: Patty Mills knows how to take a charge. Mills should have a TED talk or a masterclass dedicated to his defensive propensity. I honestly miss Patty. The passion he brings to a bench, as well as his humanitarian activity, made him an undeniably popular Spur. Welcome to the thread. Yeah, I'm not gonna read that. Um, Open thread. Former Spur Devin Brown, a homegrown member of the Spurs, of course, why the Spurs should take um Jacob Jacob P. I'm not gonna really butcher that last name. What we learned from the Spurs loss to the Clippers. The best parts of the Spurs loss to the Clippers. Um '03 championship part one airs as part of the ring of the Royal Spurs. Hang tough. Fall to Kahi and the Clippers. Oh boy. Okay, so we have more to discuss about that. So let's get to hold on. We're gonna do a mixture of things. So let's get to um all right, so Quintin Grimes was not in uniform the night Pascal Siakam torched the Knicks for 52 points last month, sitting out due to a sprained ankle. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible for an athlete to have a sprained ankle, especially this guy right here. I know how a lot of people feel when it comes to having a sprained ankle, but it does hurt though, man. So let's not get it twisted. It's not something you can fake around though, folks. Um all right, let me give a shout out to somebody who is in the gram right here. This is Rabbi 8155. Thank you for viewing this. And all right, so all right, so but the starting shooting guard was a key factor defensively in holding the Raptors big man to 18 points in Friday's win north of the border. The Knicks fourth in a row entering Monday's home game against the Bucks. The 6'5" Grimes held his ground against the 6'8" Siakam. According to coach Tom Thibodeau, helping limit the former All-Star to a 4 for 14 shooting night from the field. That was kind of the first time all game I had to guard like Scotty Barnes and Siakam down low in the post for most of the game, said Grimes, who also scored 16 points in the victory. It's a different challenge, kind of a different obstacle for me to try to not let him get to the middle. Hold on. Yes, it's a different challenge, kind of a different obstacle for me to try to not let him get to the middle, force him to the baseline because I know I got help from Mitch Robinson Center on the backside. I mean, it's tough because those guys are bigger, but I like taking on challenges, something different, and I'll learn from it. We'll see them. We'll see them again, so I can better in different areas. Watch the film and be better for next time. What the hell is this? What the hell is this, man? Hang on a second. And Thibodeau often has um has lauded Grimes as the Knicks' best perimeter defender, but this assignment was akin to a step up in weight class for the second year guard out of Houston. Quinn, I don't want to overlook his contribution, Thibodeau said after the game. In this situation, you have to guard a lot of guys with size, and sometimes he was on their guards, small guards who are quick and dynamic with the ball. And then other times he was on Sycom or OG Anobi or Barnes, and those guys pose different problems. I thought he was, I thought he held his ground. I thought he battled. I thought he hit some timely shots for us. He he's planning, excuse me, he's playing real aggressive and hard, and that gives us a different tone to our team. Grimes' contributions and two-way effort have come to be expected by his teammates and the coaching staff. Point guard Jalen Bronson said he was not surprised at all by Grimes' effectiveness against Siakam, who also sank 9 of 11 free throws attempt in the game. That's what he does. He's going to continue to get better and better. Bronson said of Grimes, "We have so much confidence in him on both sides of the ball. He's an impact player. He's been special. Other than sitting out the Knicks' home loss to Siakam and the Raptors on December 21st, Grimes has started every game since November 20th, averaging 12.6 points and 34.3 minutes over 23 appearances. He's also been used as the primary defender against star player ranging from speedy Memphis point guard Ja Morant to the physical Siakam. I see a fight in him. He don't quit on plays. He's out there. He's fighting. The 7 foot Robertson said of Grimes. That's what we need. Everyone fighting, and he's one of the guards that's doing that. Asked what gave him confidence that Grimes could defend effectively against Siakam, Thibodeau replied, "His feet and his strength." And then a guy like Siakam, I thought you are not guarding those guys, those types of players individually. We have to guard them with our team. So a guy on them has the challenge of competing for everything: the catch, the dribble, the shot, and then the team has to also help. And I thought that was huge for us. Okay, on up next on the agenda. Okay, so we got 4 players must move ahead of 2023 NBA trade deadline. This is from clutchpoints.com. Far away from the drama they had to deal with months ago, the Brooklyn Nets are now among the elite teams in the NBA. They currently carry a 27 to 15 win loss record, which is good enough for a second place in the Eastern Conference. Despite that, it still feels like there's room for upgrading the Nets roster. As such, here we look we will look at the players and the Nets must prove not prove, but move ahead of the 2023 NBA trade deadline, including Joe Harris. The Nets were once thought to be a potential sellers this season. However, under coach Jacques Vaughn, they have improved and are now among the teams looking to buy. They are in need of an upgrade at center to match up with other strong contenders in the East. They also could use more depth at forward to provide defense, toughness, and shooting. Of course, the Nets must also consider their luxury tax situation and may have to trade some of their bench players or use their second round picks and cash to reduce the penalty. Oh gosh, we don't want that. We don't want that happening. It gets overwhelming when it comes to trade rumors, when it comes to any sport that you play whatsoever, even baseball and basketball. I mean, it's a process though, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's keep going. Hold on. With that being said, let's look at the players the Nets must move ahead of the 2023 NBA trade deadline. Cam Thomas, a couple months ago, we considered Kyrie Irving to be Brooklyn's most tradable asset. That's certainly changed now. Irving has been playing at an exceptional, excuse me, exceptionally high level. In fact, he is averaging 25.6 points, 4.8 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 3.1 threes per game. That means that the Nets should look to their other personnel as trade bait. Keep in mind that the Nets could benefit from adding a player with more size and rim protection. One guy they can consider trading is Cam Thomas. Right now, he has a 38.73 point percentage. Hang on a second. All right. He alone may not be enough to bring in a proven shot blocker. That said, he could potentially be traded for another young big who is not getting playing time on their current team. Of course, Thomas can also be an additional piece to a trade revolving around the other names on this list. Seth Curry and Patty Mills. The Nets will face challenges in enhancing their roster before the playoffs. Specifically, they need to acquire more size and length. One option would be to trade away one of their smaller guard backups, such as Seth Curry or Patty Mills. They can ship them out in exchange for a backup center behind the improved Nic Claxton. Take note that Curry will be entering unrestricted free agency this summer. Alternatively, the team could put Mills out there. He is under contract for $6.8 million next season and is a cheaper option for other teams to take on. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on 1 second here. Yep. $6.8 million. That's a lot of money right here. All right. Um yeah, so trading a small for a big seems to be a ton of sense for this squad moving forward. Hmm. That's interesting to say actually. All right, so let's get to what else? What else? Oh yeah, Kevin Durant. Yeah. Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant is still recovering from the knee injury he sustained early this January, though it looks like he's still far from returning to action. Hmm. Yeah, that's gonna be a long time for recovery like this, though. Hold on. Okay. Um, According to the latest updates on his status, Durant is still wearing a knee brace. He's also set to be reevaluated early next week as his absence reaches its second week, per Sports Illustrated. To recall, when KD was injured against the Miami Heat, the team initially gave him a 2 week timeline before being reevaluated. Considering the fact that Durant is still wearing a knee brace, however, it seems unlikely he'll be able to suit up when the Nets play the Golden State Warriors, Philadelphia Sixers, and Detroit Pistons next week. For what is worth, Kevin Durant is still within the reported timeline of the Nets. As reported previously, the Brooklyn franchise is optimistic that KD's injury is less severe than his previous MCL sprain and that he won't need more than a month to recover. Yeah, it remains to be seen, folks. Remains to be seen. Um, Speaking of Nic Claxton, let's get to him. All right, so this past summer, Nets fans questioned whether Nic Claxton can could handle a full-time starter's role and whether he was worth the contract the team have given him. After turning in a career season so far and sitting among the top 10 Eastern Conference front court players in the first fan returns for All-Star voting, the 23-year-old Claxton has gone a long way toward answering both questions. The recognition was unexpected but inspiring. So yeah, hold on. Yeah, it was a surprise to me. It's definitely a big deal, but it just makes you want to climb up on that list even higher. So I've just got to stick with it and keep doing what I'm doing. Claxton said before the Nets beat the Pelicans 108 to 102 on Friday night. I feel like I can play even better. I can be more consistent. I can produce even more when I'm out there. So I'm not getting complacent. That's good that my name is on that list, but I still have a lot more work to do. Claxton had 9 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 blocks, giving him 23 blocks in his past 5 games. He was a confident player, always looking to get better. I think when opportunity meets preparation, you become a good player, Kevin Durant said of Claxton. These last couple of years, he's tried to figure out his role around Kyrie Irving and myself and James Harden when he was here. And now Ben Simmons that he's here. Being that anchor as we expect him to be, that's a tough transition from a young college player, young guy in the league to being on a team that is trying to play deep into the playoffs. You've got to be that anchor. He's commanded a lot out there as a big, cutting to the D switches, protecting the rim, rebounding the basketball. He's done a lot for us. Claxton has 3 or more blocks in 5 straight games, the longest streak for a net since Brooke Lopez in November 2012. 5 straight. Wow. New Orleans coach Willie Green placed for Jock Vaughn when the Nets coach was at the helm years ago in Orlando. Now the Friends are among the favorites for NBA Coach of the Year. Forgive me, folks. I have to lower this down because of the planes. Vaughn said he's always saw Green as a potential coach. He's he was extremely organized, very professional, team oriented, knew how to talk to different guys in locker room. Vaughn said, if those things are characteristics for being a coach, then he fit all those characteristics. Great dude, really loved him in the locker room, true professional. He's really carried all those career playing moments to being a great coach. 2 years ago, Vaughn was a leading candidate for the New Orleans job. Life is so unpredictable. The timing part of it, but yet is divine. Also, it's part of life. Vaughn said with a shrug, "This is where I'm supposed to be right now." Happy for him that he's the head coach of the Pelicans. TJ Warren, who had been knocked out of the Nets, lost to the Bills on Wednesday with a rib contusion, played and scored 15 points off the bench. Royce O'Neal bounced back from his 0 for 8 performance from 3-point range Wednesday by scoring 14 points on 4-4-7 shooting from behind the arc. Okay. Okay. Let me make sure that I have everything settled here. Just a sec. Make sure that I don't forget any topics, so just hang in there. All right. Okay, let's get into it. What we have here is our next topic right here in sports. And the next one's going to be, let me just find it. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. So, let me see. Did I even do? Okay. So, I don't think I did Russell Wilson yet. I don't think I did that one. Okay. Okay. All right, Russell Wilson, new hat line. Let's see. Okay. Okay, Russell Wilson, new hat line from Lids. Okay. New hat line from Lids. Okay, let's get to this. All right. Now, I didn't get a chance to talk about this one right here, so this is more of a recap from months ago. So let's get to this right here. So Russell Wilson, the quarterback for the Denver Broncos and a two-time Super Bowl champion and nine-time Pro Bowler, debuted his exclusive hat line with Lids. This line of premium headwear, which is trucker inspired, is constructed from high quality fabrics and features a mesh background and a snapback closure that can be adjusted to accommodate most head sizes. The headwear collection is perfect for sports fans and hat enthusiasts alike who are eager to enhance their collections with stylish and useful gear. It is offered in gray and blue, camouflage and black and white, and is imprinted with Russell Wilson's characteristic 3-brand emblem. The cost of each hat is just $27.99. I repeat, $27.99. Yes. Yes. Several Lids retail locations now carry the line. To locate a storefront close, visit you. Go to the website lids.com so you can copy you a pair of Russell Wilson custom made hats. So there you have it right there. All right. So speaking of Pro Bowl, let's get to the Pro Bowl thing, man. First of all, let's get to the Pro Bowl thing. Now, for those of you who may not know what a Pro Bowl is, I'll break it down here. So, what is a Pro Bowl? Here we go. So, the National Football League All-Star Game Pro Bowl or Pro Bowl Games is an annual event held by the National Football League featuring the league's star players. The format has changed throughout the years. Let's see. And you probably wondering what the purpose is. The purpose is so the Pro Bowl is the National Football League's All-Star Game. Every year, the best players from the NFC and AFC go head-to-head in an exhibition game to recognize their achievements from that season. So how are the players chosen for the Pro Bowl, you ask? Rosters are selected based on three groups of voting: fans, players, and coaches. Each category's vote represents 1/3 to determine the 88 Pro Bowlers. The NFL is the only sports league to use fans, players, and coaches voting to determine who makes the Pro Bowl. Let's see. And of course, Pro Bowl is an actual game. Yeah. So that's the breakdown of what a Pro Bowl is. Now let's get to the Pro Bowl story. All right. So the NFL announced today the 8 unique skills competition that Pro Bowl players from the AFC and NFC will compete in during the 2023 Pro Bowl games presented by Verizon. Uh, Taking place over 2 days in Las Vegas. The skills challenges will be broadcasted live for the first time on Thursday, February the 2nd on ESPN from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Check your local listings as an epic made for TV event. And the competitions will continue Sunday, February 5th throughout the day, along with the first ever NFL flag football games. The AFC team will be led by Peyton Manning, the brother of Eli Manning, of course, and has a podcast as well. So why don't you check out his podcast as well? Yes, so Ray Lewis is included, and Diana Flores also included as well. While the NFC team will be held by Eli Manning, DeMarcus Ware, and Vanita Crouch. Taking place at the Intermountain Healthcare Performance Center, the Las Vegas Raiders headquarters and practice facility on Thursday, and Allegiant Stadium on Sunday. The Pro Bowl games skills competition will be brought to life by A. Smith and Company Productions, producers of shows such as American Ninja Warrior, Hell's Kitchen, and the Titan Games. Sunday's event from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas will be televised from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ABC, and ticket holders will be able to witness all the impressive players' feats live, including 3 epic 7-on-7 flag football games between the league's best players, the culmination of the Pro Bowl games, skills events, and a major musical performance. And of course, make sure you check your local listings if you are in the West Coast, Midwest, Mid East, down south, or if you're even in the East Coast like me, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, wherever you live, check your local listings. And you can visit the website probowl.com for tickets to buy tickets, which start as low as $35. I repeat, it starts at $35. Yes. And let's see what else we have to talk about here. All right. I'm gonna make sure I don't forget anything. And yes, we'll talk Draymond Green. Let's talk Draymond Green. Hold on 1 second. All right. Draymond Green opens up about something. Let's get to it. So it's been more than 3 months since the heated physical altercation between Warriors forward Draymond Green and Jordan Poole ahead of the 2022-2023 NBA season. Since the incident, Green has apologized to Poole. His teammates spent time away from the franchise and been a part of Golden State's up and down start to the season. The Warriors are 20-21, are currently at number 9 in the Western Conference standings. Oh boy. That's a no right there, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really a no. I don't care. I don't care what your beef is whatsoever, though, man. Like, you really need to get your shit together. Like, seriously. Like, how you do that, man? Like, seriously. Um, let's see. This is just crazy, though, man. Uh, man, listen. I'll just say this though, man. that right there, that right there is just that right there is just crazy though. Um okay, um yeah. Oh shit. Anyway, um recently Green sat down with Bleacher Reports Taylor Rooks. Taylor Rooks and shared that the video of the incident being released was a calculated decision to portray the four-time champion in a certain light. It is 100% calculated, Green said. Who it was calculated by, I don't know. I would still love to know that answer. How the video got released, I'm not sure I will ever get an answer. That video was put out there to portray me the exact way that it did. This was meant to form an opinion about me and not give another side to it. In the incident, Green and Poole became engaged in a heated interaction, coming chest to chest and pushing each other. Green then forcefully struck Poole, causing the two to be split up by teammates. Practices was briefly stopped to allow for the situation to simmer down. Um, yeah. And that's why I named the episode You Gotta Have Some Composure. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some composure, man. That's what it is. like I'm 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 dead serious right now, man. Like really, really though, man. Like y'all gotta keep y'all fucking beefs to the side, man. Put that shit to the side and just and just do what you have to do on the basketball court, man. The people who's watching the game don't want to see any of that shit, man. Like, come on. Like, be for real. Yeah, you gotta have some composures in yourselves, man. That's what it is. So so that's my take on that one. Let's see. Even more, Green and Poole were reportedly known to argue with each other after the video of the punch surfaced on social media. Green took Rooks that his teammates changed. Everything changes. So now I'm like, this is what this was intended to do, Green said. This is why this was released this way. In the one-on-one interview, Green, who often took several pauses, indicated that there was more to the story with the altercation. However, the full-time All-Star stated he did not want to divulge any additional information currently. One day I will, Green said. It is not the time and the place. Yeah, right. You made a fucking scene, man. That's your fault. You made a scene and you talking about it's not the time and the place. Get out of here. All right. As the Warriors continue to play, Green said he has put the altercation behind him and has accepted his responsibility for the incident. Regarding his relationship with the pool, it has changed, but the two are moving forward through the situation. Is it different? 100%, and not that I expected it to be the same, Green said. I will always be willing to do that work because I was wrong. I think I think it was no, I think it has been close to the way that I thought it would go. I see improvements day by day, week by week, month by month, and that's all you can ask for. All right. Let's see. All right, let's see. What else can we talk about here? Devante Adams. Let's get to that right there. Devante Adams. Yes, here it is. Okay, this is from rotoballer.com. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on a minute here. Let me see if there's any more stories about this. Sorry. So with Derek Carr seemingly out the door with the Las Vegas Raiders franchise for next year, it's looking like the team will be in the market for a new quarterback in 2023. In appearance with the media on Wednesday, star receiver Devante Adams addressed this by saying he will likely stick around for next season, even with Carr moving on from the team. In addition, he mentioned that he'd like to provide input on the Raiders quarterback situation for next season. Regarding his suggestions, Adams said they know whether it's about the scheme or if it's about personnel. Whatever it is, there's a rhyme to the reason. With Adams being under contract until 2027, the Raiders certainly have some work to do in the offseason to address the quarterback position. All right. Now we go to the oh, by the way, forgot to do this. All right, so in other Devante Adams news. All right, so this is from um BaliSports.com. How would Green Bay go about replacing all pro production from wide receiver Devante Adams? That one that's one of the jar full of questions that squarely faced the Packers entering 2022. The best guess seemed obvious in September. Green Bay would lean on its running game and establish force while it protected the football and develop a young crop of wide receivers. The right answer for the Packers was much more convoluted. Green Bay hurried along the progress of two of its three drafted skill players, Romeo Dubes and Christian Watson, giving both baby-faced wideouts mega roles at different stages of the season. The Packers also didn't run the ball as effectively or as often as expected. That's a story for a different day. Well, not actually. We'll address Green Bay's RB usage in notes at the bottom. Ultimately, the group effort the Packers depended on offensively didn't work. In all, Green Bay gave snaps to 8 wide receivers ranging in age and skill, and none took our minds off of Adams. In layman's terms, they had no answer. In 2022, Green Bay's top three wide hold on WRs combined for 1,824 yards receiving and 16 touchdowns on 143 catches. Adams with the Las Vegas Raiders compiled a line of 100 to 1,516 to 14 on his own. It's always tough going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, from Devante to Allen Lazard. It's going to be a transition. Four-time MVP Aaron Rodgers said, tongue in cheek at Packers training camp. Rodgers' playful mood expired the first offensive snap of the season when Watson, whom the club traded up for in the second round at last April's draft, blatantly dropped what would and should have been a 75-yard touchdown. It took Watson weeks to redeem himself. For the next 3.5 months, Green Bay's passing game consistently featured a bizarre combination of woes and woes, appropriately described as forms of torture and euphoria. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute here. That's funny. That's crazy funny, man. No. No, that's not what I was looking for. Sorry. Yeah. All right. You get the gist of this shit though, man. Um oh man, torture and euphoria. Whenever I hear terrible words like this, like torture, murder, or anything like that, that's when I play that sound effect right there. That you just heard. Its touchdown frequency inside the 10-yard line in 2022 hatched what several people have dubbed the Devante Adams effect. The Packers crossed the goal stripe 17 times in 71 plays. Compared that 23.9% TD, which is touchdown rate, to 2021 when Green Bay converted on 32 of 100 trips inside the 10, 32%. The Packers were even better in 2020, getting 6 points on 40 of 91 attempts, 44%. Furthermore, Rodgers tossed 48 touchdowns in the low red zone between 2020 and 21. Almost half 20 belonging to Adams. Rodgers had 11 such touchdowns in 2022. Meanwhile, Adams had 4 with the black and silver. The reality is winning in that area is one of Adams' innumerable specialties. And the Packers missed it dearly. Lazard, The veteran and presumptive number one WR wide receiver is what it stands for. That Rodgers jokingly referenced in conversation about Adams did lead the Packers pass catchers in offensive snaps with 863, but recorded a pedestrian 788 yards on 60 catches. 38 receivers, including 4 rookies: Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Drake London, and George Pickens, accounted for more yards. On the topic of rookies, Green Bay's threesome of dupes. Watson and round seventh rounder Samori Toure had good, bad, and ugly performances at times during their maiden voyages in the NFL. Dubes edged Watson for the second most snaps among Packers wide receivers, logging 529 or 48.35% of the group's total plays across 13 games for a stretch until he was curved by a hurt ankle. Dubes, who Green Bay discovered in the 4th round by way of Nevada, briefly served as Rodgers' favorite option, seeing 30 targets spanning 4 games from September 25th to October 16th. When Dubes went down, Watson emerged. By the end of the campaign, the size speed freak out of North Dakota State was a star. Watson's final line of 41, 6'11", 7 via 507 snaps, which is 46.34%, doesn't do his impact justice, not at all. Watson's breakthrough occurred November 13th versus Dallas Cowboys, catching 4 balls for 107 yards and 3 touchdowns. He kept pace the next 3 games, producing another 5 scores and 255 total yards. Watson ended the season on a high note as well, tallying 104 yards in the finale versus Detroit. He was the closest thing Green Bay's offense had to a real deal deep threat like it did with Adams. Toure played a smaller role than his rookie comrades, not debuting until week 7 and receiving 112 snaps overall. To his credit, he produced a splash day, a 37-yard touchdown as early as game 2. Yeah. Of course, it's important to give yourself credit for doing a lot of good. The rest of Green Bay's wide receivers were a mess, either semi-wasted up or ineffective. Randall, hold on a second. Yes, Randall Cobb was next in regards to snaps, playing 371 over 13 games in year 12. Cobb had what amounted to 3 good games, and improved on his yardage from 2021, gaining 42 more yards, reaching 417 in 1 fewer game. Yet his 1 touchdown was his fewest since he was a rookie. 2 other notable wide receivers are no longer part of the organization. Amari Rodgers, a 3rd-round pick in 2021, was released November 15th after fumbling 7 times in 26 games. Rodgers had 4 catches for a whooping 50 yards on 98 offensive snaps in 2022. Hold on. For what it's worth, he was kind of reborn after getting picked up by Houston. In 6 games with the Texans, Rodgers posted 12 receptions for 154 yards and a touchdown. Nothing too special. Lastly, there's Sammy Watkins in his only season with the Packers and injured, no, oft injured 29-year-old caught 13 passes for 206 yards while playing approximately one-fourth of the offensive snaps. Excuse me. Watkins, a former top 5 draft pick, was cut December 19th, hours before the pack appeared on MNF. As stated, Green Bay had no answer for replacing what Adams brought to the table. Of course, other notes from Green Bay season snap counts. Something we're not sold on for 2023. AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones spearheading Green Bay's rushing attack. Granted, on paper, Dillon and Jones this season carried more times, rushed for more yards, and scored as many touchdowns on the ground as they did in 2021. Still, we're not sold. Dillon didn't take the third-year leap we imagined. He received a 49.09% snap share to 57.59% for Jones. And hang on. And his rushing total and average dipped slightly, as well as his production in the passing game. Jones was a bigger disappointment, fumbling a career high 5 times while hitting pay dirt just twice as a ball carrier and 5 times through the air. A shuffled all line definitely impacted this duel's effectiveness. Green Bay's mashup of wide receivers weren't afforded much assistance by a collection of tight ends. Robert Tonian, Mercedes Lewis, Josiah DeGara, and Tyler Davis combined for 76 catches, 676 yards, and 4 TDs. We listed the foursome in order of snaps. Toyin 591, Lewis 451, DeGara 258, and Davis 174. Tony N led them with 470 yards and tied Lewis with the TDs. Packers stalwarts David Bakhtiari and and Elgin and Elgin Jenkins made their respective returns from knee injuries and wound up playing 597 to 960 of the 1,094 possible snaps on defense. The former started 11 games, the latter 15. Bakhtiari earned the 11th best grade out of 81 qualifying tackles per Pro Football Focus. Jenkins, in turn, ranked 12th among 78 guards in cumulative score. Rookie offensive lineman Zach Tom was Mr. Versatility for Green Bay this season. Tom, the 140th selection in the 2022 NFL draft out of Wake Forest, made 5 starts in 9 appearances. Of his 489 snaps, he took 302 at left tackle, 96 at left guard, and 91 anchoring the right flank. Of course, safety Adrian Amos led Packers defenders with 977 snaps in 2022 for a 94.58% share. The workload translated to solid production for Amos, who set career highs in tackles, 102, and tackles for loss 7. In what may have been his final season with Green Bay, the 29-year-old is set to hit free agency in March. Amos intercepted 1 pass and was credited with 5 PBUs. Oh boy. PBUs. All right. Rasul Douglas and Jerry Alexander played the most snaps, 914 and 901 among Packers cornerbacks. Let me see. The Douglas Alexander pairing was one of the club's defensive strengths in 2022. The tandem was responsible for 9 interceptions and 27 passes defense, not to mention 141 tackles. Green Bay got contributions in 2022 from 3 rookie defenders. Number 22, overall pick inside linebacker Quay Walker, defensive tackle Devante Wyatt. Yes, Devante Wyatt with Devante Wyatt and rush linebacker Kingsley Enagbear. Walker fared the best and played the largest role by far, leading the team in tackles with 121 via 846 snaps, which is 81.90%. A day 1 starter, Walker tied AJ Hawk's rookie record for tackles and became the 3rd first-year Packer since 1987 to rack up 100 or more. There were negatives to Walker's game to look no further than 2 ejections for inexcusably shoving a member of the opposing team's athletic training staff. Walker's college teammate Wyatt experienced a fraction of the former's chances to make an impact, receiving 224 snaps over 16 games. Wyatt finished with 15 tackles and 1.5 sacks. After Walker, Enagbear was the top rookie defender for Green Bay. The 5th-round pick out of South Carolina started 7 of the last 8 games and played 465 or 45.01% of the total D snaps. And Nagbear's increased role coincided with the star OLB Rashawn Gary tearing his ACL on November 6th against the Lions. And Nagbear pitched in to the Packers' anemic pass rush. They had 34 sacks and 125 pressures, both bottom 10 marks in the NFL with 3 quarterback takedowns and 25 pressures. A fine start. Players often say the hardest thing to do in the NFL is replicate success. The second biggest challenge might be staying healthy for a 17 game slate. Okay, where was I? Where was I? Yes, replicate success. No. Oh no, this is where I was. Okay. And Nagbear pitched into the Packers and needed pass rush. They had 34 sacks, 125 pressures, both bottom 10 marks in the NFL with 3 quarterback takedowns and 25 pressures. A fine start. Players often say the hardest thing to do in the NFL is replicate success. The second biggest challenge might be staying healthy for a 17 game slate. Oh gosh. Come on. Linebacker Devondre Campbell had a tough go in both areas in 2022, but more so the latter. Missing 4 games due to a knee injury, Campbell finished well below the 146 tackles he made during his first All Pro season in 2021 on the field for 694 snaps, about 300 fewer than last year. Campbell compiled 96 stops. He did, however, match his interception total from a season ago, two, and had a pack 6 at Washington. Defensive back Keyshawn Nixon, um, no relations to Richard Nixon, folks. Weaponized Green Bay's kickoff return unit this season, totaling NFL best in returns 35 and yards 1,009 with 1 touchdown and a 28.8 yard average. We're here to tell you Nixon can do more and did. On defense, Nixon played 289 snaps, predominantly manning the slot. His stats included 23 tackles, 1 interception, and 2 pass breakups. We hardly doubt anyone had Rudy Ford playing close to half Green Bay's defensive snaps on their bingo cards. Ford signed August 31st by the Packers after stints with Arizona, Philadelphia, and Jacksonville. Had a career season in 2022, starting 6 of 17 games and picking off 3 passes. Ford was on the field for 442 defensive snaps, 42.79%. The crazy part is the majority of those opportunities occurred simultaneously with Green Bay's resurrection in the second half. The 2017 sixth-round draft pick of the Cardinals logged 67 snaps through the first 9 weeks. Okay. Where is I? Oh, yes, the 2017 sixth-round draft pick of the Cardinals logged 67 snaps through the first 9 weeks. He nearly equaled that amount in his first start of the season versus Dallas on November 13th and handled 375 snaps across the final 8 games. You could argue Ford was the 2022 version of Dallas. Okay, let's see what else. Let me make sure I don't forget anything else as far as oh, here it is. Here it is. All right, Source Sports. The McDonald's All American Games have announced a new group of rising basketball stars as nominees for 2020 for the 2023 class. A total of 722 high school girls and boys basketball players from throughout the country have been nominated. This year's nominees come from 44 states and the District of Columbia, and they attend 462 different high schools across the country. Texas had the most nominations, 93, followed by California, 73, Florida, 65, and New Jersey, 65. 35, Mount Verde Academy had the most nominations, 11, followed by Dream City Christian High School, 8, Southern California Academy, 8, and IMG Academy, 8. Providing a national platform to elevate and honor these players is what the McDonald's All American Games is about, said Joe Wooden, McDonald's All American Games Selection Committee chairman. We've been doing this for over 4 decades and have seen some truly amazing kids come through this iconic program. Um, that's why this moment is so special. The history, prestige, and all that comes with it. These players are joining a long list of icons to be named nominees to the games, and it's something that will never be taken away. Becoming a McDonald's All American Games nominee is bigger than one person. It's about representing your family, your friends, school, and community on the national stage and doing so with pride of what you earned and respect for those that have paved the way, said Vicky Chancellor. Atlanta-based McDonald's owner, operator, and chair McDonald's USA franchisee marketing committee. On behalf of McDonald's, we're so proud of every nominee and know how much hard work went into this achievement. It's important we take a moment to highlight and achievements of these athletes across the country and celebrate their new status as a McDonald's All-American nominee. The final lineups will be revealed later this month. The announcement will be made live on NBA Today on Tuesday. Mark your calendars. Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. That's Tuesday, January 24th, 2023 on ESP between 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on ESPN. Check your local listings. A complete list of 2023 McDonald's All American Games nominee is available at the website at mcdaag.com. And let's make some noise. Let's make some noise for the McDonald's All American people who are the nominees. Let's make some noise right here, man. Let's make some noise. All right. All right. What's next? Okay, we got some baseball news to get to. All right, let's get to Steve Cohen, man. Yeah. Let's get to Steve Cohen, man, because he is not an old school. He's not an old school person, though, man. So let's get into it, though. All right, and this is according to the New York Post. Way back when Carlos Correa had only agreed to one mega deal, that being the Giants' $350 million, 13-year agreement. Hold on. Yes, 13-year agreement. Mets owner Steve Cohen was lamenting to the Post about missing out on Correa the first time, and he said, "There will always be another free agent." A few days later, it looked like that free agent might be Correa, but alas, it was not to be. Cohen really loved what Correa brought: the glove, the personality, and the extra bat, which he felt was needed. And he's surely disappointed not to have acquired him, following the disagreement over his physical and how to resolve that difference via contract language changes. But there will be more opportunities, which is the beautiful thing about free agency and having a net worth that rivals some small countries. Um, Unfortunately, the timing here isn't great. By the time Correa agreed to his third deal, the one that stuck, the $200 million 6-year Twins agreement, the free agent market that's left contains no stars in their prime, much less superstars. All right. Um, Hold on a minute here. Hold on. Let me find that right. Yes, there it is. Let me find that. Okay. Okay. Um. All right. Let's get. Let's continue where we left off here. Um. Cohen is a big time hunter, and it's fun to guess who might be next. Some ideas. Manny Machado, the Padres are expecting him to exercise his opt out, especially after the way they and others paid top free agents this winter. He and manager Joe, no, excuse me, he and manager Buck Showalter are tight from days together in Baltimore. Shohei Atani, that's been the rumor in the air. Um, he probably shouldn't be number two on any list, but there's some concern about whether he'd go to New York. One baseball executive said he was flat out told Otani didn't want to come here when he was first free 5 years ago. Um, his handlers say that was a long time ago and tastes has changed. But of course, they have to hope he'd consider Cohen's team for the sake of negotiations, which will get crazy anyway for the world's best player. The Dodgers seem primed for a run at Atani, and the bidding should get to $500 million range at least. Wow, $500 million. Okay, Fernando Tatis Jr. Yet another Padre has been rumored to be potential trade bait. I say stay away until he can prove he's more dependable. Flashes of greatness are nice, but not at this rate. His $340 million deal, which coincidentally inspired Francisco Lindor's $341 million Mets deal, is heavily backloaded. All right. Yeah. And Matt Chapman, he's a terrific defender, and like Machado, as a free agent, could step right in at third with Eduardo Escobar's contract expiring after 2023. Nevertheless, his offense has lagged the past couple years. Julio Urias, he'll be the top pitcher on the market next year, unless you count Atani as a pitcher, and perhaps even then, he's young, he's clutch, don't disregard. Ryan Reynolds, he's begging to be traded, and perhaps he will be, but the crosstown Yankees, the Marlins, and others are more obvious fits. He's a very good player, but doesn't carry the cachet of a correct. Okay, so we have Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff. Hold on. There's no real indication either will be dealt or that the Brewers would trade one to the Mets. One thing folks are wondering about is why the Mets didn't just give Correa the same $200 million 6-year deal he ultimately signed with the Twins. It would seem to be a good deal after originally agreeing to $315 million, and perhaps the Mets will regret not doing it. But it very likely comes down to the tax and the desire to keep the double AV, which is annual. No, hold on. It's yeah, average annual salary relatively low. Oh boy. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. Yeah, let me see. Cohen famously told me, what difference does it make over the relatively small extra money he was spending for him? But ultimately, there are lines for everyone, even him. Cohen is paying a 90% tax, the Steve Cohen tax, so that $33 million is really $63 million a year. Correa is really good, but is he that good? Um, the Twins below the tax threshold pay only the $33.33 million salary and no additional tax. So Cohen would have been paying double had they finalized the deal. For those who figured Cohen has no limit, we may finally have found it. Wow. Yeah. Okay, in other Mets news, of course, we have to talk about another interest in the air has to do with Andrew McCutchen. Okay, the Mets are still in the market for a fourth outfielder and are interested in Andrew McCutchen. Sources told the Post. John Heyman. It's unclear if McCutchen is interested in a role as a spare outfielder since the Mets have Starling Marte and Mark Canha and brought back Brandon Nimmo this offseason. Dan Ruff is also on the bench as a potential right-handed DH, but he was dreadful after coming from the Giants in a trade last season, and McCutchen could be used there on occasion. McCutchen, age 36, is coming off an inconsistent season with the Brewers and has lost some power since he was a five-time All-Star with the Pirates. He finished with an OPS of .700, a career low, but was still a league average hitter and remains solid as a corner outfielder. Khalil Lee is the only other outfielder on the Mets 40-man roster. Okay, so let's go to Pete Alonso. All right. Primary baseball first baseman Pete Alonso, fresh off another standout season with the Mets, will be getting a, a sizable raise this year as the first baseman, and the team avoided arbitration and settled on a contract worth $14.5 million before Friday's deadline. All right, let's see. Hang on one second. Okay, Alonso made $7.4 million a year ago in his first year of arbitration and isn't due to hit free agency until after the 2024 season. Hmm, that's very interesting. Yep. He led the team in most offensive categories, including homers, 40 RBIs, 131, and OPS .869. Luis Guillaume and Tomas Nido also agreed to deals to avoid arbitration and did right-handers Drew Smith, um, Eliezer Hernandez, and Jeff Bigham. Um, Jeff McNeil did not agree to a deal, though the team and McNeil can continue to negotiate before a hearing. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to keep track on this. If I see any more new details about this, because February is around the corner, so um, I should be able to keep track on this. And of course, unfortunately, there's going to be some MLB rule changes here, man. I'm pretty sure everybody probably didn't really know about what was going on, but um and this is from Yahoo. This is from yahoosports.com. Okay. So in baseball, the times really are a changing after many years of talking about maybe changing the collective bargaining agreement that ended MLB's 2022 lockout installed some changes itself, such as the expanded playoff system and the universal designated hitter, and cleared a more epidemic path for Commissioner Rob Manfred and the league to implement future fundamental rule changes. The first wave will take effect on opening day 2023 and will likely dominate conversation and preparation around spring training. In September 2022, MLB announced several on field rule changes, including the long awaited pitch clock, or pitch timer, as MLB is officially calling it. The two other significant changes were agreed upon as part of the CBA negotiations, but are going into effect for the first time in 2023. For fans, there are six changes to watch, some some of which will leap off the screen and some that might take a minute to notice. To prepare a new season, let's rank MLB's new changes by just how noticeable they'll be in 2023 and take some guesses at how they might affect the viewing experience. Oh, Lord. Starting with number one, the pitch timer. The game is getting a clock. That might feel like a jarring addition, but it's meant to bring the sport back into line with the experience most fans grew up with. The average 9 inning game took 3 hours and 3 minutes in 2022. All 8 seasons on record in which 9 inning games average at least 3 hours have come since 2014. In the minor leagues, the pitch timer cut the average game by 25 minutes. If that effect were replicated in the majors, it would speed games up to a pace last seen in 2006. As a refresher, here's how the timer will count down in each situation. Hold on. 30 seconds between batters, 15 seconds between pitches. When hold on. Yes, 30 seconds between batters, 15 seconds between pitches when the bases are empty, 20 seconds between pitches with runners on base. Pitchers must begin their rotations by the time the timer expires or be charged with an automatic ball. Batters will also be governed by the timer. They must be in the box and alert to the pitcher by the 8-second mark, or they'll be charged with an automatic strike. Wait, what? Okay, that doesn't sound pretty. That doesn't sound pretty good, though, man. To be honest with you, I hate to say this, but that doesn't sound pretty good, though, man. That's a lot of peer pressure if you really think about it, though. It's really a lot of peer pressure, though, man. Yeah, I had to do it though, man. I had to do it though, man. That shit is that's it's gonna be a little stressful for pitchers and players, man, who are at the batter's box. Um, yeah, this is unquestionably the most seismic change coming in 2023, though it could be dwarfed by an automatic ball strike system that could reach the majors in some form in future seasons. Pitchers and more hitters than you might realize will be forced to adjust career spanning habits and rituals. Even your favorite broadcasters might have to alter their routines with less dead air to fill. Still, the goal is an admirable one. And if the outcome matches the minor league experiments, it would be a boon for baseball to pack the same amount of action into a more easily consumed package. Um, Infield shift restrictions and a move to tamp down some of the creative defensive positioning that has taken away more and more hits in recent seasons. MLB is implementing limitations on infield defense. Damn. This season, fielding teams must have four infielders on the dirt at the start of each pitch, with at least two defenders entirely on each side of the second base. Damn. This season, fielding teams must have, yeah, four infielders. Yeah, I just read that. If the defense violates the rule, the hitting team can choose an automatic ball or accept the result of the play. Oh boy, that's crazy. That's very crazy. That's very crazy, though, man. Yeah, that sounds pretty nuts, though, man. That right there is like I said, man, that's gonna be a lot of pressure, man, trying to keep up with the damn fucking time for players. Like, come on, man. Like, really? Like that right there is just it's just mind-boggling, man. That's I don't know, man. Like, to be honest with you, that's never really been an issue with Mets play with any players in the baseball field, outfield. Like I don't know how they're gonna be able to adjust. So, I'm gonna pose a question about this actually. Hang on a second. Okay, that right there is just plain crazy right there. I'd be scared. I'd be scared about the amount of seconds, man. I mean, to keep up with all this, I don't know, man. But I'm gonna pose a question about this too, man. But I just have to think about it for a couple of minutes after I get off the air. So anyway, man, let's continue. Um, I have to really say, all right, so this is crazy right there, man. Yeah, so teams will undoubtedly drop some new forms of defensive wizardry within these new boundaries, but the basic shape of infields will look like the stereotypical position graphics more other than they have in recent years. Okay, hold on. Left-handed power hitters in particular will provide a stress test for the restriction, as they were the recipients of the most extreme defensive maneuvering. Maybe Corey Seager, Kyle Schwarber, and Cole will suddenly bat 280 and 250 instead of 245 and 218. But those same sluggers might also be worth watching for the adaptations. Could an outfielder stand in short right field like the second baseman used to? Some team is going to try it. Number three, pickoff rules. This is technically entering the rule book as part of the pitch timer, but the new law of the running game is worth examining on its own. Pitchers are no longer allowed unlimited throws to a base, at least not without the threat of a penalty. There are two disengagements allowed per plate appearance, with a disengagement being a pickoff attempt or a step off the mound that isn't an injury or a mount visit. A pitcher can attempt a third pickoff, but the runner automatically advances if the pickoff isn't successful. Also of note, the counter resets if a runner advances. At least at first, this will be another huge change for veteran pitchers and for the strategy of the game as a whole. Manager, New York Mets manager Buck Showalter in classic Buck style is reportedly planning to give his players a quiz upon arrival at spring training to see how much of the new rules they have internalized and how much they need drilled into them before real games begin. If the traditional ballpark reaction to multiple pickoff attempts, a flood of boos is any indication, this rule might be most noticeable for the moments it eliminates. What remains to be seen is whether the limits create a more brazen base stealing environment, or hurlers simply adapt and maintain the league's relatively conservative running status quo. Number four, balanced schedule. If you are a season ticket holder or devotee of your team's local broadcast, perhaps this change will prove underrated. In the new version of MLB schedule, every team will play every other team every season. Okay, so here's how it will work for any given team. 14 games per season against each division rival. Down from 19 in the previous schedule format. 6 games per season against the 10 other teams in the same league. One home series, one away series each. 4 games per season against a geographic interleague rival. Pairings that sometimes make sense. Of course, Yankees, Mets, Cubs, White Sox, and sometimes pit the Houston Astros against the Colorado Rockies. 3 games per season against every other interleague team. One annual series that will alternate locations each year. In total, each club will play 46 interleague matchups, up from 16, along with the 12-team playoff format and the universal DH adopted in 2022. This is a move toward an NFL or NBA style view of league competition. And as MLB points out, it will create a more level playing field in crucial wild card races, as teams in the same league will feature 76% of common opponents, up from 52% in an unbalanced schedule. That stands as a stark contrast to the old system, in which one um, National League contender could theoretically play its interleague slate against the weak AL Central, while another racing for the same playoff spot was forced to play the daunting AL East. Wow. For fans, there's also a more basic entertainment aspect. Everyone will get to see their team face Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge, or whichever far-flung star might have otherwise been difficult to watch. Ads on uniforms. Yes, the uniforms will be advertising patches in 2023, a staple of European soccer kits. Corporate sponsorship unsurprisingly leaped into American athletic attire with MLS in 2007. It began its creep into the country's more mainstream sports with the NBA in 2017, then continued on to NHL helmets and sweaters. MLB negotiated the right for owners to sell jersey patches as part of the new CBA, with Commissioner Rob Manfred calling them a reality of life in professional sports. The San Diego Padres, the first team to strike a deal for their patch, will charge Motorola $9 million per year. Wow. $9 million. Yes, other teams will undoubtedly rake in even more for uniform real estate. Baseball fans are not known for seamless reactions to change. previous editions of the new era logo to on-field caps and the Nike logo to on-field uniforms both caused uproars among traditionalists and cranky Twitter users. Unsurprisingly, those moments of outrage proved to be, well, momentary. The introduction of outside sponsorship could be tougher to get used to, and it certainly creates more opportunities for teams or brands to stumble into controversy or at least awkward situations. The Washington Nationals, for instance, signed a lucrative sponsorship deal with the cryptocurrency company Terra mere months before it collapsed. Number six, bigger bases. Finally, the bases, they are going to be bigger. Specifically, they will be 18 inches square instead of 15 inches square. While there's some hope that this game of inches might encourage more stolen bases, the stated reason behind the change is player safety. A bigger bag allows runners and fielders more room to avoid dangerous collisions and entanglements, especially at first. Fans who find that this change jumps off the screen at them are encouraged to pursue careers as fighter pilots. For everyone else, sit back and enjoy the show as a constantly evolving sport gets some new guardrails. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap this up right here, man. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up right here. Like I said, I'm going to be making up a question involving the MLB changes to the teams and how it will basically affect them. You know what I'm saying? It can be a difficult challenge and stuff. So yeah, so yeah. Here's what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna go to our very, 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 very last segment of the night. And our very last segment of the night is going to be stream choices on the go. Let's go. And you know what to do, folks, for all you listeners out there. If you like what you heard in today's show, any previous episodes or any sports topics that you come across with or any previous episodes whatsoever, please feel free to show your love by following Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, the Sports Edition show, and alongside with Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, the review show. Also, and be sure to follow my number one show, Off the Meat Rat Chains New York podcast, and myself intended the homie G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. Turn on your notifications on the gram so you can see me in action on Instagram Live and all that great stuff right there. And of course, you can go to the link in bio where it says Linktree / Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast. All right. And you can leave a voice message on anchor.fm / G Money Stacks 0 / message. That's anchor.fm / G Money Stacks 0 / message. You can leave a message on how you feel about the topics, and you can comment about the sports topics or how you feel about it as far as the rule changes in MLB and stuff. So, all right. So, um, let's wait for this to pass. All right. So Speaking of Anchor FM, that's what we're going to start with right here. So we're on Anchor, Audible, Audacity, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podorama. Yes, Podorama, Podopolo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating on Podchaser, Podfriend, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts whatsoever will be appreciated. And also included is Radio Public, iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts. Be sure to follow Meticulous Vouchers podcast review show alongside with Off the Meat Rack Chains New York podcast episodes is already on there. Make sure you subscribe and all that great stuff right there. And hang on a second. And finally, don't forget and make sure you grab that subscribe button on the YouTube channel, sports channel page of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. Click on the noni bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes, along with the sports topics and everything else. Stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes, and of course, be sure to share the episodes, share the videos, download, listen, stream. Of course, watch the episodes in case you miss any of the episodes, including the topics that's being discussed. And of course, be sure to tell a friend to another friend. And of course, by the way, spread the word. Word of mouth is important. And of course, share the link that says Linktree / G Money. No, excuse me. Linktree / Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast. All right. Alongside with the podcast with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriend, girlfriends, friends, the people you cool with, and the people you cool with from work and everywhere else where you meet new people and all that other stuff right there. And that's going to do it for me. This is your man. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Thank you very much for listening and rocking with me on the 52nd episode of this sports podcast platform right here. And of course, you have to have composure with yourselves, which is the title of the episode right here. And remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and you have to earn it. And by the way, be sure to actually find something that clicks to you, that gets you into your zone. Hold on a second. Yes, find something, look for something that clicks to you, alongside with what makes you smile creatively, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that gets you into your zone on your P's and Q's alongside with tunnel vision. All right. Now that's gonna do it for me, man. That's gonna do it for me. Like I said, I will make up a question in regards to the MLB changes for 2023 and how y'all feel about it. Why don't you jump in the comment section, and of course I'll read your answers on the air to see how you feel about it and all that great stuff right there. So I'm off this shit. Thank you very much for tuning in and rocking with me, and I'll be back next time with more topics and all that other great stuff right there, man. So peace and one love. I hope y'all have a nice weekend. Be careful out there. Stay safe. Take care of one another. And also, don't be afraid to ask somebody what they're going through on the inside and what's bothering them, because you never know what they might be going through and stuff. So peace and one love, and have yourselves a good night, folks.